Chapter 15. Augustine and the Little Boy. A legend about Augustine tells us that he spent hours thinking about the question, who is God? It was impossible to find a satisfactory answer. He knew the teachings of the Bible about the highest knowledge of God being kept hidden from the wise and given to the children, but that did not stop him from trying to find the answer to this mystery. Time and again he asked himself, who is God? God has no beginning, nor will he ever have an end. The last part was not too difficult, he thought, but the idea that God had no beginning, that God had always existed, who could ever understand that? Even if I go back 1,000,000 centuries, thought the bishop, I will still find a point where these centuries started. Yet God existed before time began. No matter how far back I go, everywhere and always there will be God. He who was has been forever. The very thought of that made Augustine dizzy. He tried to use his great mind to understand this, but found it impossible. He could not accept this, and he hoped that he would see the day when he could comprehend this limitless time and space and clearly visualize it. Once, when he had again spent hours thinking about this, he put on his robe and, still deep in thought, went outside and walked toward the beach. The sandy stretch of shoreline was deserted. Augustine saw no one and nothing except the ever-returning waves crashing upon the sand. When he reached the waterline, he saw the seemingly unending body of water. "Ah," he cried, "this is an image of the space in which my searching mind wanders and repeatedly gets lost. My spirit floats across the immeasurable surface, of which it can see neither beginning nor end. Yet soon the bird returns to its nest, as I must go home, weary with fatigue from thinking but never clearly understanding who and what God is." As he walked there talking to himself, he saw a little boy playing in the sand, and he wondered what the child was doing there without anyone looking after him. Wanting to find out, Augustine walked to where the boy sat on the sand. As he came closer, he saw that the child was very handsome indeed. With his hands, the boy had dug a hole in the sand and was now busy filling it with water from the sea. Augustine kindly asked the lad, "What are you doing, my boy? You seem so busy." "Please do not bother me," said the child. "I have dug a hole, and now I am going to put the whole ocean into it." That made Augustine laugh. "Come now," he said. "Do you really think that you can put this big ocean in this little hole? Surely you can see that it is impossible. You may as well stop, child, because you will never get it done." The boy threw away his little tainer and sternly looked at the bishop. "Do you really believe that your limited mind can understand the eternal God? How could you ever hope to transfer the eternal God to your small world of thought? You had better stop trying. It is all in vain. Go home, my Lord Bishop. Learn to believe like a child and never seek understanding beyond that of which you are able." No sooner had the boy finished speaking when he spread the wings attached to his back, and before the eyes of the astonished Augustine, he flew into the distance. Augustine remained there for a long time, as though he were nailed to the spot. He looked at the hole the boy had dug, and then he looked at the sea. He repeated the words the child had spoken and began to understand their meaning. Walking home, he sighed. "Lord, I thank thee for sending this little boy. I realize he came from thee, and I also understand what it was he had to teach me. I must never seek an answer to the mystery, who art thou, because I shall never be able to find it. Thou art far too great to be understood by me, a mere mortal man." Once and for all, Augustine had learned that even the greatest human mind is incapable of comprehending the greatness of God. That is what this lovely legend teaches us.